welcome to our program for tonight. Tonight we will be interviewing John Smith, an angry Bostonian from the time period of the Revolutionary War, James Sullivan, a British man from the French and Indian War, King Philip's wife from King Philip's War, and President James Madison. Unfortunately, because of the danger of Indian attacks, I was not able to go to the location of King Philip's wife, but our cameraman was able to, and he answered the interview questions himself. We have them up on the screen for you.
We are in a war right now with the colonists. We recently raided Swansea, Massachusetts, and killed many colonists. We met with the colonists recently, and they asked if we would put down our weapons, and we did. One of our Christian tribesmen, turns out, unfortunately, he was an informant, and 3 of our tribesmen ended up killing him, and they were all tried and executed. Since our tribesmen were tried and executed, we needed to do something to get back at the colonists, so we ended up invading Swansea.
King Philip's War had many effects. Some of the effects were that it cost the colonists a large sum of money. It also terminated the existence of the Native Americans, sadly, and it led to an uninterrupted territorial expansion. And because of this territorial expansion, the colonists were able to just expand territory everywhere, which led to the French and Indian War, which was over the land of the Ohio River Valley because the French were starting to expand into Britain's territory. I'm here today with James Sullivan, a British man from the French and Indian War. James, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Now, I heard that the French were expanding into your territory in the Ohio River Valley. How do you feel about that?
It's very frustrating having them expanding into the Ohio River Valley. It's our land, not theirs.
So, I heard that George Washington defeated the French in a battle. What do you have to say about that?
He was a great man. Not only a great man, he was a great soldier.
So, I've heard that the French have allied themselves with the Indians. What is your position on that?
It worries me greatly because the Indians are great war strategists, and I'm very afraid because we have encroached on their land.
Now that you have captured Fort Frontenac, which is great, and the French do not have a foothold in Canada anymore, how do you feel about that?
Oh, fantastic. Since the French don't have a foothold in Canada, that makes us Brits very happy.
Anything else to add?
Just that now that the Spanish have allied themselves with the French, we are focusing clearly on just capturing all of their territories.
That's great. It was so good to talk to you today. Thank you.
Nice to meet you too.
One of the major effects of the French and Indian War was this huge debt that Britain acquired, and Britain's Parliament decided to raise the taxes on the colonists living over in America on things such as sugar, paper, and stamps, and many other things that people use every day. And this really angered the colonists, and because of their anger, the colonists had many protests such as the Boston Massacre, the Boston Tea Party, and many other things like that. And because of their anger over these taxes, this is what started the Revolutionary War. I was supposed to have John Smith from Boston, but I guess he's...
Sorry I'm late.
Hello, it's nice to meet you, John.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
What we're here to talk about today, the Revolutionary War. I heard, so after the French and Indian War, it seems that Parliament from Britain really just put all their debt to you.
But acts are irritating. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Just because Britain is in some huge debt from the French and Indian War doesn't mean we have to be dragged into paying off their debt.
I see.
I use sugar paper and stamps every day. So it's very hard to have those things taxed more because now I have less money.
So, the Boston Massacre and the Boston Tea Party, what do you have to say about these two events?
We wasn't doing nothing. We were just protesting. But the British fired on us and killed 5 of our men. 5. Dumping the tea into that harbor was awesome. We dumped 342 chests of tea into the harbor.
Mm-hmm.
That'll show the British were forcing us to buy bad tea.
The first battles of the war and the Declaration of Independence three very major events. How do you feel? What do you think about those?
The battles of Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill, great. We really killed and injured a lot of those Brits. So they don't have as many men. The Declaration is great. We aren't British anymore, and we've declared ourselves a new country.
So, do you have anything else to say?
Just that we really appreciate the French's help. Without them, we would not have won the war. We would not be America the Beautiful.
I just wanted to thank you for coming in and
Hey, you
taking the
betcha.
time and energy to talk to me. Thank you. Now, the Revolutionary War led to the War of 1812 because the War of 1812 is also referred to as America's Second War for Independence, because in the Revolutionary War, America won their independence from Britain and became their own country. But in the War of 1812, Britain was still trying to take back that land from America, and America was still trying to fight to keep their independence and their freedom, which is why the Revolutionary War led to the War of 1812. Today I'm here with President James Madison. How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
So I heard that the British were antagonizing your country, so you declared war on them.
Absolutely. It's frustrating to have the British capturing our sailors and forcing them to become sailors for Britain. Of course, I declared war on Britain, and they were antagonizing our country and made us very angry.
I heard that the White House has been burned down. What do you have to say about that?
Don't even get me started. That's our nation's capital. That should never have happened. Never have happened.
We have discovered the lost footage of the burning of the White House in 1814. So Andrew Jackson, he led the famous Battle of New Orleans. What do you think about him?
What can I say about Andrew Jackson? He was a great general, that's for sure. He led and won the Battle of New Orleans, and I thank him for his service to our country.
I see, and I also heard that the Battle of New Orleans happened after the war was over because the Treaty of Ghent did not make its way over to Andrew Jackson and the British in America at the time of the Battle of New Orleans. Is that true?
That is correct.
That's very interesting. I just wanted to thank you for your time here today with allowing me to interview you today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Mr. President. During the War of 1812, the Federalist Party attempted to secede from the nation, and this attempt at secession led to a more sectionalistic mindset in some of the minds of the people. And when Abraham Lincoln was elected president, 7 states seceded from the nation, forming the Confederate States of America. And this and many other causes led to the Civil War, making the War of 1812 lead to the Civil War. From these interviews with these men, you can see how King Philip's War led to the French and Indian War, how the French and Indian War led to the Revolutionary War, how the Revolutionary War led to the War of 1812, and how the War of 1812 led to the Civil War. Thank you and good night, America.